Good morning, everyone. Happy New Year. Hope 2026 is off to a great start. You're as beautiful and handsome as always. And I've been informed this second row here, you three ladies are troublemakers, so I'm watching y'all. Self-proclaimed, I did not say that. But if you haven't already, just grab a cup of coffee and a donut. And thank you, Lucas, our barista dude back there, for being here today. But who's excited about 2026? Anybody excited about 26? It's the weather kind of hasn't quite felt like winter here, but I'll take it because I'm not super cold kind of guy. But we want to welcome you here and excited about all that 26 has to offer and the slate of seminars that we have. Before we get too far into it, I wanted to introduce our educational partners. And yes, so we found out this morning that the building currently does not have running water. So maybe don't drink too much coffee. I don't know, but there are bathrooms straight across the street there in the church. Is that right, Ken? Just straight that way. But there are bathrooms, and the city's been notified, and we're working on it. So a little snafu today, but why don't you guys come on up here, and then I'll just have you introduce yourselves, and you kind of line up here in the front, kind of like, this is great. Yeah, they're so excited about this. These are educational partners, and they make it possible. They partner with us to bring these free seminars to you on a monthly basis. And one of the things I was thinking about, it's our series is called Seniors Living Smarter. And it's also our heart that seniors plan smarter. So as you age, it's so important to have a team of people and services around you. And I remember a few months ago, we had a seminar, and somebody asked, well, how do I know where a trusted attorney is? And I'm like, we have one, Rainey and Rainey, right here with us. So we encourage you before and after, check out the education partner tables and ask what they do and get to know them. They're pretty incredible people. Look at those smiles on those faces this morning. They're pretty incredible people. So I'll just pass the mic. Let's start with Ray down here. And she'll introduce herself, what company she's with and what they do, and we'll just pass it down the line.
Got you out of remembering who we all are.
Yeah, you're so smart.
I'm Ray. I'm with Care Patrol, and I'm the first table right over there. We have a resource guide. We're senior care advisors. So whenever you start looking into assisted living or maybe a memory care or some caregiving services, we can help walk you through that.
Sure. Okay. I'm Ariel. This is Erica. We are social workers with Senior Services of Austin, but we just started a care management platform called Agency that is $10 a month, and it gives people our tools that we use as care managers so they can manage their own care. It's really easy to upload all your information, share it with families, and we have kind of a PDF that shows what it looks like, and I'm happy to walk anyone through it, but it's got our medical forms, guides, checklists, templates for people to use and kind of act as their own care manager instead of paying our $175 an hour rate to get that knowledge. So come talk to us if you have questions.
Good morning. I'm Caitlin Bickerstaff with Truewood by Merrill Georgetown. We're assisted living and memory care.
Hi, I'm Susie Ferris. I'm with Heart to Heart Hospice, and I am a huge component. Like, I love educating. And so hospice is something that is a scary word, but I am here for early education when it comes down to hospice. So when that time comes, you guys are prepared, know what you guys need, and yeah, that's me.
Hi, I'm Jessica Jorgensen with Visiting Angels in Williamson County. We're non-medical home care, and we service, like I said, Williamson County and North Austin.
Good morning. My name is Sarah Elizabeth Persisepi. I'm here with Rainey and Rainey. We are an elder law and estate planning firm right here in Georgetown. We do all things that fall under that category, which is estate planning, probate, guardianship, Medicaid planning for long-term care, special needs planning, and a whole host of other things that we can assist you with. So please come and see me if you have any questions. We'd be happy to chat.
Good morning. I'm Scott Olson with GTX Wealth, and we do wealth management, insurance planning, income planning, things of that nature. Once that estate plan is put in place with our friends at Rainey and Rainey, we can help you implement that plan.
Hi, I'm Virginia Lazenby. I'm a co-host or whatever with Vince on the seminars. And I'm also here with Seniors Living Smarter Services. What this is, it's really a way we complement our real estate business with providing complete comprehensive services, helping people when they're ready to transition from their home off into independent or assisted living. But we can simplify things considerably. So stop by for more information.
Hello, there we go. Okay, thank you. I was going to say, ladies and gentlemen, and I love Sarah Elizabeth, your last name, Persisepi. Love the name so much. Thank y'all so much. So, Virginia, let's go ahead and hop up here. You know, as we were, as Virginia's getting ready, you've got your packet here, and in your packet, you're going to have opportunities for volunteer opportunities we're going to talk about today, and also a social connectedness handout that we felt was really applicable to today's topic. Also, your feedback form. Now, there's a few different things we've done today. Everyone has a stick, peel off, what am I trying to say? Your name tag. And you can actually peel that off at the end, stick it right on your feedback form, and you don't have to write all that in. If you pre-registered and we have your information, feel free to do that. So just stick that on there. Also, for today and today only, we have coffee and donuts, and I've told a few of you, I cannot take home 4 dozen donuts. So if you haven't had a donut before, please grab one after, and Lucas will be here after for some, and that's all complimentary on us today. So thank you all for being here.
It's to celebrate 2026.
Celebrate 2026, a way to kick it off. So as we were planning this seminar, you know, a lot of things came up, and one was really about how to live better, live wiser, live more fulfilled. Are you getting the picture here behind me? So it's our literal backdrop and figuratively what we want to, you know, put forth in our seminars. And one of the things that came up was some Blue Zone research, and we've got a few slides, which I think there's a program on Netflix, maybe Amazon Prime. You can look it up, but it's about Blue Zone research, and it's pretty fascinating on longevity and living healthier, more satisfied lives. And I think at any age, right, we want to live a good life. No one really wants to wake up with aches and pains in the morning or feel isolated or depressed. And so there's a lot of research around that. So we've got a few slides we want to, you know, talk about today. But Virginia, tell us, what are Blue Zones?
You know, some of you, like Vince mentioned, I'm sure you've seen the documentaries about it. To me, it's fascinating research. Just a real quick overview, and I had the opportunity to hear the original researcher on this. But over the period of time when they have identified communities around the world where there's an unusually large number of centenarians living, and they began to study these. What are the commonalities? Why are these people living longer? And we can go into a lot more detail about it. But the point is, as Vince said, living fulfilled lives. You know, in the past, we've done sessions on, we would call it living to 100. I always get this, but be it good or be it bad. What's the difference? It's the quality of life. And that's what we learn a lot from the Blue Zones research. So if any of you want to visit more about that, I'm glad to fill in more details, and we'll be talking more about it. Over on the Seniors Living Smarter Services table, I do have the just a graphic representing what they call their Power 9, and we're going to zero in on some of those today. Thank you. You know, what makes a difference? And when you look at these, you look at the moving naturally, you know, and this I think is always interesting. So many of these communities, and somehow, but they're very isolated communities in the mountains of Greece or South America, or there is an Adventist community in California. So a lot of for many of these people, their activities, walking up and down hills just to go anywhere, they move naturally. We get in our cars and drive to a gym to work out. Well, that's better than not, or at least we walk in our neighborhoods. But anyway, that one just always fascinates me. What's the purpose? Why are we living? There's something deep within us. I get, when some people just seem so sad. Well, come on, we all have a purpose, and supporting others will be more of that, because we're going to talk about volunteering today, and just that whole thing of downshift, taking time to enjoy and appreciate, getting away from the hustle and bustle. When we talk about the I should put, okay. The 80% rule. Some of us overindulge in food, and how do we? There's a lot about food and nutrition, plant-based diet. Right now, this is one of the things that's contributed to a lot of publicity now about the Mediterranean diet, and rich in grains and greens, and so some of you I know have already researched a lot of that area and how important that is. And then if we'll rotate on to, oh yeah,
This was my favorite wine at 5. Anyway, go ahead.
so with moderation, but anyway, you get the idea. There is an importance in it there. Belonging, that's what we're going to be talking about. A lot of these we've combined in our own way today. And as when Vince and I were planning this, my first career was education, and I was thinking a lot about when we would think about supporting young people, especially teenagers going through life, and it can be pretty rough. And we would see then the importance for the kids who were involved in scouting, in band, in clubs, in activities where people were depending on them and they were contributing, and how important that was to healthy development. It's the same now. The more that we are engaged, and that picks up a lot with what we'll be talking about today. Um, Loved ones first, really making time for family. And I know sometimes when people have said, I don't have family with me or here, or, but you've got friends, and that's the important part there, is the associations. And then right tribe, finding our group that we belong with. And I think we have our own tribe here in terms of, some of you have been with us we're starting our 11th year. Some of you have been with us almost that whole time. Sleepers, I know you started coming when we were at First Presbyterian, and I'm sure there are others who I'm going to be skipping right now, but anyway, that's kind of an overview. But again, these are the common characteristics that were identified in this variety of communities where an unusually high proportion of people were living to 100. It's not, you notice we don't have they've got the finest medical in the world. Nothing against medicine, Dr. Gill, but we know that we've got to do a lot on our own to support that.
And so what we wanted to focus on today is more around social connectedness, and we'll have 2 sets of panels. We're going to have a volunteer panel, and then we'll have a community organization and some activity resources up here we're going to interview as well. And just really to be an encouragement to, no matter what age, what your situation is, there are opportunities to be involved, to live a more connected life. So this first bullet
So
here,
as you're setting goals or intentions for 2026, we're here to help you.
yes, absolutely. And that first bullet, strong social connections have been linked with longer, healthier lives, similar in impact to diet and exercise. So talk about that a little bit, Virginia, in terms of isolation, loneliness versus connectedness.
Well, I kind of got ahead of myself and mentioned part of that a while ago. But when you think about just that whole importance of having purpose, having a reason to get up and get dressed and go somewhere. When we talk about volunteering today, Bonnie from Faith in Action is also going to share with us opportunities where we don't even have to leave our house. Because, oh, well, I can't do anything. I can't get out. I don't drive or whatever. But just having a connection, someone who's depending on us, and we know we're contributing.
Yeah, that's good. And I like that key point there at the bottom. It says connection isn't an optional nice to have. It's a longevity factor that research shows affects physical and mental health. And again, this isn't just Virginia and I making a bunch of bullets. This is research based. And so I want to encourage you. I mean, there are days I'm sure that if you don't have a purpose to get up or get out of the house or to be connected, then it's easy probably just to stay isolated. And so we just want to encourage a connectedness and a mindset of connectedness. So that next slide here, purpose and well-being, blue zone populations often articulate a clear sense of purpose. So talk to us about that, Virginia, and its impact on mental health.
Well, I think we've kind of already touched on that, but this really talks about the significance of it, how it does impact us. And I know these become so interrelated, so it's kind of hard to separate them sometime. But the reason we're doing that is to emphasize, oh, yeah, that's important. We're talking about quality of life. And we want to, some say, no, I don't want to live to 100. Some people are getting close to 100 and they're very active, and we want them to continue that way. And this is what we're sharing.
This next slide talks about evidence that again, research is supporting and interesting population outcomes in these blue zones. And again, just you can Google that, research it. It's fascinating to listen and watch and to learn more about this. But blue zone residents live 7 to 10 years longer than the average American and experience lower rates of chronic diseases. Social connection and health data. Loneliness increases risk of premature death by approximately 26 to 29%. Strong social relationships are linked with longer survival than weak social ties. And the last bullet there, purpose and meaning. Research links a strong life purpose with significantly lowering mortality among older adults. And I like that takeaway. It says longevity isn't just about genetics, it's about everyday choices and relationships matter. So we're going to kind of land the plane here on volunteering and being active, but what are some of the benefits of volunteering that research has shown us?
Well, we've talked about the general ones, and again, it's that connectedness, it's having a reason, it's being affirmed. I do matter. My presence here on the earth does matter. And I think that's so much of it. Plus just that enjoyment. And as we've talked, again, looking at it's a new year and setting goals and intentions. And that was the reason we wanted to start with this about having, the best quality of life we can have. And so and we're talking a lot about volunteering today because that's something concrete you can do. But it's also just that engagement. It's being active. And I'm going to just say my little piece here that I know for many of us, our goal is to stay in my house as long as I can. I'm going to age in place, and I won't get into the other things that we say. That's fine. But I challenge you, if that's your goal, also put with that, how am I going to stay active? Just living in my house, and I've unfortunately seen it where then I just am in my living room. I never leave my living room. I never leave my recliner. That's not a healthy life. So yes, we may have limited mobility, but there are things we can do. Like I say, Bonnie will share with us some other groups. You can send cards to people. You can have a reason for living. And that's, it's just so important. So social and staying challenged. I just don't want my mind to slip. Well, then do something about it. We have, I still want to say Senior University. Georgetown Lifelong Learners is with us today. I was already talking with about some classes I'm looking at and joining this spring. So I encourage you, just be active, involved, challenge our minds, get going. We may not walk up and down hills to go to the grocery store. We can at least walk in our neighborhood or check out what's offered at the rec center, some exciting things through that. So we're here to help you start your year off with strong goals and intentions. But guess what? You have to be the one to follow up with them, which I know by February it's bad. We'll have to do a check-in in February. How many of you have continued on this positive path when we get together in February?
Thank you, Virginia. So, we can get up here and talk, but we always think it's important to hear personal stories of connectedness and what, being active and being a volunteer really means to people. So I'll go ahead and ask Bonnie Bailey and Ellis Gill for that there. If you guys want to come on up here, and we're going to have a little brief conversation with the two of them. You guys can sit there. Grab a microphone, and we did our mic check, and I just said, just pretend the microphone's like a ice cream cone. Just keep it right there in your chin. So, Bonnie and Ellis, thank you so much for being here today with us. And so, Bonnie, tell us a little bit about yourself and why you volunteer, and how did you get involved with volunteering?
Well, my husband passed away 12 years ago, and we had a very active life. And it was about a week after the funeral, and everybody went home. And I know most of you are familiar with that. And I remember just walking into the den and realizing I was all alone. And I threw myself on the floor, and I asked God to show me what He wanted me to do. What am I going to do with the rest of my life? When you ask God a question like that, He comes back full force, let me tell you, because I have been volunteering ever since that day 12 years ago, because He has showed me places to volunteer, and I have volunteered at many places. As a matter of fact, Ellis and I just connected after many years of working with Ministerial Alliance. He remembered me, but I didn't remember him. But when you volunteer and you're active, it's amazing. You could be in the grocery store and someone walks up. I feel like I just know most people here. And that to me is a wonderful feeling that I'm not alone.
So good. So I met Bonnie a couple months ago, and get with her after. She has a fascinating story about New Orleans, and when she says that, say New Orleans. You just have that.
Well, when people ask me where I'm from, I say, well, I'm a New Orleans darling.
She had that. It was great. She has got that, and so it's a storied life you've lived, and so fascinating. Thank you, Bonnie. Now, Ellis. Now, I understand that you're one of your many claims to fame is you were an A&M drum major. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's right. It's a million years ago. They only had 4 instruments back then, but no, I was a drum major of the Aggie band, and that's was one of the highlights of my life. So, thanks for bringing it up.
I try to help. So tell us a little bit about you, Ellis, and what you do. You're retired now, and what you did, and how did you get involved in volunteering?
Well, again, Vince, thanks for inviting me. And Bonnie, it's been great to get reacquainted with you again. Ministerial Alliance was very important to both of us 15 years ago, you said?
At least, yes.
Well, I'll tell you a little about my story, and it relates directly to what we've been talking about here so far today. And that is, I was moved to Austin back when it only had about 200,000 people. Now it has 1 million people. And so I practiced pediatrics for 40 years there and decided to get out of Dodge. because the place was so big and terrible then, and I didn't realize that happened lots of different places. But anyway, I moved to Sunset City, or Sun City as some call it. My daughter said, "Isn't that where people go to die?" And I said, "Really?" But anyway, we moved to Sun City about 20 years ago, and had these. I was retired and had this great image of me, being a star golf player and doing all sorts of fun things like dancing and playing golf every day and just going out and in general having a great time. Well, I tried that. I got myself an old golf cart and a set of golf clubs, and I started going out and hitting the golf ball and going dancing into Sun City events occasionally and eating out all the time. And I found out all of a sudden that I was not happy, and I couldn't figure out what was going on. And I finally figured it out, and that is I was only trying to please myself and my wife and wasn't really thinking about other people. And I spent my life, more or less a service project. So I decided I would join one of the churches, and I've always been kind of a churchy guy. I joined one of the churches and get in their missions program. I did that at, I'm not trying to sell Presbyterian Baptist Church, but St. Gabriel's Presbyterian Church or any other denomination. But I will tell you that's kind of where I landed. And I started getting in their mission project and started getting involved in some of these things like Helping Hands and the Meals on Wheels and the Nest and Backpack Buddies. And just so you don't have to worry about this, if you decide you might want to take a plunge at doing some of these volunteer things, over there in the corner of the first table, I have a little email that has a list of those projects and contact people. Most of them are from the Presbyterian Church because that's where I know the contacts. But I guarantee if you'd like to give it a try and get involved in any project like this, I think that you're going to find, like I did, that helping other people makes you feel a lot better than just helping yourself. So I don't know how much further you want me to go into these various projects, but
Okay, we'll come to that in just a second. So, Bonnie, which organizations do you volunteer with?
Well, Vince, I'm glad you asked me that because I have a list. In the
I knew
last,
you would. I
in-
knew you would.
you know how organized I am. In the last 12 years, in my church, I today currently volunteer. I am a member of Crestview Baptist. I volunteer in our church office, administration work, answer the phones, whatever they need. And I absolutely enjoy that because I'm with family. It's my church family. So that's what I'm doing currently. And currently, I am also volunteering Monday and Fridays at the Georgetown Library. I've been doing that for going on 9 years now, and absolutely love it. Why? Because that's where I get my exercise. If it is amazing how you move, even if you're checking in books, shelving books, and sometimes I go home hurting because I did too much exercise, but it was worth it. So on Monday and Friday, I'm at the Georgetown Library. Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, I volunteer at my church. That is the least volunteering I have done in the last 12 years, is only 2 during a week. But in the past, I have, and actually current in the church, I started the Grief Share Ministry. And that was 10 years ago. And absolutely, that was my ministry that God laid on my heart. And that took at least 80% of my time. I love that ministry. Absolutely. I started it, and it's, if any of you have ever started a ministry or from scratch, it is wonderful to see God working and that He is using me in the lives of other people, that I can walk with other people who have gone through the grief of losing a loved one. From that, I also volunteer with the LNF, which is the local fellowship network through Grief Share for South Central Texas. So I am on the board there, and I plan the conferences. So that keeps me pretty busy. That takes about 3 days a month to do all of that. And then, of course, during the conferences, I'm very busy planning all of that with guest speakers and so forth. I also, from Grief Share, I started Hope Gathering. And if you don't know what that is for widows only through our church. I got that working with our missions director, Chase Woldridge, and we brought Hope Gathering to Crestview. So those are my church activities. Also, I'm on 8 committees at church. Okay, I'm Mission, Encore, Bereavement, Hospitality. In the community, in the past, I have been with Faith in Action, St. David's Hospital. I volunteered as a chaplain there. Wesleyan, I have volunteered as a chaplain there for 3 months while they were looking for a permanent chaplain. In Heritage Oaks, where I live, I was on the social committee. And all those things kept me very busy. And I will tell you, I keep all my name tags in the glove compartment in my car. And I say, okay, what am I doing now? Faith in Action, St. David's Hospital, Crestview Baptist Church. And it's kind of fun, you know. But, and then I am now, like I said, I have slowed down because I am getting older, and I do realize I need to take care of me. But the reason I do this is because, number one, I'm a people person. I love being around people. I love learning about people. And it fills my time constructively, better than sitting at home feeling sorry for myself. And absolutely learning new skills. And if any of you are familiar with the new computer stuff and AI, which I am learning through the church working there, it drives me nuts. There are days I want to throw that computer up against a wall. I just praise God that we have an IT person I can call. And most importantly, why I do this is because I know God has given me spiritual gifts, and each one of you have a spiritual gift. And how tragic it is that you have spiritual gifts and you don't use them. To glorify God, using my spiritual gifts is what really keeps me motivated. And I ask God, where do you want me now? And I can usually tell, because when I start to get frustrated and say, okay, I'm getting tired of doing this, He puts something else in front of me. So that is my main important reason for volunteering, is because I want to be able to use all the wonderful gifts that God has given me.
Thank you, Bonnie. Thank you. Now, Ellis, talk to us a little bit more about where opportunities that you're currently involved in for volunteering.
Thanks. I will. I just want to ask Bonnie one thing, and that is one of my favorite programs to support is Faith in Action. And could you tell us a little bit more about that, Faith in Action caregivers, and what the opportunities are there? Because I don't know that as well.
And actually, on our next panel, after y'all, we do have Faith in Action here.
Oh, good.
So Becky will be up here, so I think she might can answer that question.
Yeah. Oh, I'm
Feel free
sorry.
if you have stuff to add, or we can ask Becky when she's up here.
Oh, no, and is her name Becky? The one that's, okay. Lisa Hoy and I, she's my daughter. Okay. As you know, I think I spoke to you. Lisa Hoyle is the director, and I was very excited when she took on that job a few years ago. Wonderful, wonderful organization, and she's doing a fabulous job. And Lisa and I were very close. We both worked at the Williamson Baptist Association together years ago. So tell her I said hi.
Yes, but we will hear more from Becky here shortly. So, yeah, Ellis, tell us about opportunities that you're currently involved in.
All right. I'll just briefly mention this, some of these activities, and I want to reiterate that over on the corner of the table, There is a list of these with contact people, so you don't have to write anything down or try to remember something. You can just go over there and pick one of the flyers up on the way home. I'd like to just, I've been involved in at least 5 of these programs, but I'd like to just talk about a couple of them, if that's okay. The ones that I've been involved with that I think are vital begins with a caring place. And I don't know if you all know much about the Caring Place, but its history is long. It's been here longer than I have been in town. But the Caring Place is essentially, well, it's more than this, but it's essentially a community food, what do you call it? A food pantry. And it used to be in most towns, every church has a food pantry, and every church struggles to fill it, and they have lots of problems with folks that taking advantage of those programs by coming and going to 7 different churches for gas or for food or whatever. And that can be a real problem for most people. Plus, it takes a lot of time and energy. But the Caring Place actually began this over 20 years ago through a Catholic church. It's been very successful. And essentially what it is a crisis rescue program. And that is if you're running short of money in the short term or for gas or food or for rent or whatever, there's a situation where you go and you register with them and they do kind of a background check on you, and then they provide that money for those various needs. Plus, they have a big food pantry there that's a kind of a walk-in food pantry, and it's well used every day. It's downtown, so it's sometimes a little bit busy and a little hard to get to, but it's well worth effort for those folks who are having those kinds of problems. And one of my other major projects I love are the Meals on Wheels project, because again, this is I think I've been involved with it almost since its onset 20 years ago, but it's kind of evolved also. And now, right now, the Meals on Wheels program is served by, I guess, mainly churches, where you serve meals, warm meals, hot meals for a group of around 200 people every day for about a week. And that's, of course, not every week, but it's shared with other churches. But I think it's a real vital program in that it serves so many people. And frankly, one of the big benefits to Meals on Wheels is that you see folks that often don't see anyone else. And so they're often a little lonely, want to do a little talking and whatever. And I've had great success with doing that. My wife is a little better at the talking part than I am, but anyway, we enjoy that, not for the brief social interlude as well as giving folks hot food. The project not only gives 200 meals to the families in town, but there's also a satellite program that feeds another 45 people, one hot meal and then a shelf-stable meal for the rest of the week. And those are surrounding towns here. And I know there are other things I should be talking about here, but right now those are all I can think of. But it's a great project, and it's one that if you're interested in and haven't tried out, again, that information is over on that handout.
Perfect. So let me just ask you two a quick question. So, how has volunteering changed you, and how has it changed your view of aging and retirement? And who are you today that maybe you wouldn't be if it weren't for volunteering and being active and engaged?
Well, to be honest with you, like I tried to mention earlier on when I first got here, I was thinking about things that help me, and I thought would help me and my and us and our. But I found out right away that I felt a lot more fulfilled if I got out in the community and did some of these service projects from the mission field. And it's really kind of gone from giving me a meaning for myself to giving me a meaning that's for the community, and it makes me feel more connected and more important, and really makes me feel like getting up in the morning and going out and doing something for the other folks instead of just sitting in a chair reading a book and playing golf and stuff like that. So,
Bonnie, how about you?
And for me, it fills my time constructively. Like I had said previously, it's better than sitting home. I know my TV misses me because I don't look at TV. And when I get home in the evening, my very first thing is to get my cup of coffee, get in my recliner, put my feet up, and read and read and read. And my dear friend Sandy, who's sitting in the front, knows that because she'll call me and say, "You got your coffee yet? Are you ready to talk?" So that's one thing. It fills my time constructively. And another wonderful thing, which I didn't really realize till I was into volunteering, was I am learning all kind of new skills. And it's a challenge for me. And of course, we all remember computers and things from years ago. Well, now it's all different, and I'm learning so many wonderful things. I'm able to use my life experiences that God has given me, the things I have done, over my life, and I'm able to use them for other purposes, and I'm not getting a paycheck. And that's wonderful because when you don't get a paycheck, you're not responsible. You can go in and say, I don't feel good today. They can't say where you're going to get cut your pay. Nope, I don't care. But anyway, I know the administrator at our church. I was talking to him one day, and I said, I'm going to go to Bible study tomorrow, and I won't be. And he says, well, I'm just going to have to cut your pay. And we started laughing, and I said, so what's the 10% of zero? And so we laugh about that a lot. And then another very important thing is exercise and mental exercise. I get, like I mentioned, in the library, I go constantly for 2 hours, and I love it. And also, just a little note in there, I am one of these persons who goes to Walmart, H-E-B, and I find the very last parking spot down by the gas station. Why? Because that makes me walk, and I hate these signs that says, this is reserved for children and pregnant women. Well, they're supposed to be walking. Why are they in the front? But that's just my complaint, You need to be parking that car, especially kids. They can run that distance. So that's one of my pet peeves. So yes, exercise is very important to me, and I get that really at the library, and I force myself to go up and down those stairs and not use the elevator. Of course, if I have a cart of books, I have to use the elevator, but it's the bending, the stretching, and all of that. And then the mental exercise, it keeps my mind going. It's a challenge, and that's very important because your mind will turn to mush if you sit there in front of the TV feeling sorry for yourself. And I want to keep my mind active. So
That's great. We really want this year to be a year of action and really moving forward. And so what would you say is one or two things you would want the attendees today, our friends here today, to take away about volunteering and how important it is? What would you say? How would you encourage them?
okay, you want me to take that? Okay. Well, the secret word here is wants to. You have to want to. If you don't want to, it's useless. You can't force people to do anything. So when you want to, that's when you get up and you start praying, at least with me, show me the way, and then I start looking. You have to be committed to change, to environmental things, and to challenge. If you don't have that need or that urge to do that, then you're barking up the wrong tree. but you have to first know that that's what you want to do, and you want to better yourself. So to me, that's the most important thing.
Ellis, anything? What would you want our folks here to take away from today as an encouragement to get involved?
Well, well, I want you to remember that it's not about us, not about ourselves. It's about other folks. If you want to feel important and feel like there's a reason to get up, stop thinking about yourself and get out there and volunteer and do some of these worthwhile projects while you can. Because the sad news is that you're that same person you were at 60 is when you're 80 or 90. So if you want to kind of live a little longer and make those lives more meaningful, I suggest getting out and getting with other people, and getting out of your hole and getting out of your book and getting with other folks. It'll keep you alive a lot longer.
It's good. Well, thank you both. Any final things you wanted to say or comments you wanted to make before we move on?
I think I pretty much covered everything.
Okay.
I'm sure that's it. Yeah.
We will have time for a Q&A at the end, and then we can, people can ask questions. And also afterwards, encourage you to stay. And then Ellis and Bonnie, as well as our other panelists, will have tables right in the middle. So just connect with them. But thank you both so much. And if I could have, let's give it up for Bonnie and Ellis. And I'll go ahead and ask my other folks to come on up. So I've got 3 more panelists we want to introduce to you today. Now, Dennis couldn't be here. I got a last minute cancellation. Dennis from the Caring Place. Any of those you can say. So he won't be able to join us today, but I want to introduce Becky Lanclos from Faith in Action. We've got Robert Staton from City of Georgetown, not Staton, it is Staton. I did get that right, that was good. And then Ron Snell from Lifelong Learners, GTX. So you can pick up your microphone, do a little quick test on that.
Hello.
All right. So Becky, let's start with you. Tell us about a little bit about you, a little bit about Faith in Action, and then how you got involved with Faith in Action.
First of all, I appreciate the shout out for Faith in Action. Thank you very much. Faith in Action, if you're not I will do that. If you're not familiar with Faith in Action, we are a nonprofit agency here in Georgetown, and we provide free transportation for Georgetown residents 65 and older. It helps them live independently longer in their homes, and we provide that free transportation to get them to medical appointments or errands. In addition to that, we have a buddy program that some of you might be interested in, and I'll speak a little bit more about that in a bit. I started out with Faith in Action as a volunteer driver, and did that for about 6 or 7 years, and then had an opportunity to actually go to work for them. So I work in the office now on special projects.
Great, thank you. All right.
My name is Robert Staton. I'm a recreation specialist for Georgetown Parks and Recreation. My main duties are adult and senior adult enrichment activities. That's day trips, classes, photography, Tai Chi, dance classes, adventure programs. We do have a big senior kayaking program and hiking program. Those are my main duties, along with a bunch of other smaller things.
Thank you, sir. Ron.
Ron Snell with Lifelong Learners, formerly known as Senior University. Some of you may be acquainted with us, and I can tell how long you've been involved by how hard it is for you to adapt to the new name. I've been the director starting my 5th year. We provide courses for adults, typically retired adults, but courses of all kinds for people on an annual schedule that includes a couple of terms and special presentations.
So thank you, all 3. And it was interesting when I was talking to Robert earlier, actually, I think Ron first, and you said you had put in an application with Robert, or we're going to, for a water polo kayak class. Am I getting this right? This is exciting stuff here, people.
Uh, yeah, I'm not sure if that's ever going to happen, but
It's being recorded, so it's got to happen now, right?
when I was about 60 years old, somebody in Nebraska bought 10 kayaks and started come if you want to play kayak water polo at the rec center. And I have a long history of water sports, and I thought, why not? I was by far the oldest person there, but not by far the slowest. And so many years passed, interim, blah, 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 came back and got acquainted with the rec center and with Robert and thought we ought to start a kayak water polo group for the rec center. And there are a few hurdles to overcome, but yeah.
Stay tuned. You heard it here first, folks, right here. So, Becky, talk to us about, you mentioned the buddy program. So talk a little bit about that and then other volunteer opportunities.
So primarily, and actually right now we are in desperate need of volunteer drivers. We serve about 800 clients. We only have about 125 volunteers that drive. And as you imagine, with our community aging and people not driving or not being comfortable enough to drive outside their community. So we actually take them to medical appointments to North Austin, Temple, Round Rock, Cedar Park. So we cover a very large area for medical. But in addition to that, if you don't drive, there are other opportunities to volunteer. We have a great program, the Buddy Program, and our buddies will call clients and just check in with them once or twice a week on the phone. Or sometimes we have what we call friendly visits, where you might go out to visit them in their home once a week or every other week. You'd be surprised in Georgetown, a lot of our clients live alone and they don't have family and they don't have friends. And so they're very lonesome for contact with anybody that has time to visit with them.
Thank you. Thank you, Becky. So Ron, let's go over to you. So what are the benefits to getting engaged with lifelong learners? Like, what's the benefit?
Can I stand up?
You can.
It's hard to sit down. This morning, I was reflecting in preparation for this on something that absolutely matches your theme of the morning, social interaction. And it occurred to me that in 2020, we became participants in a long-term research study through no fault of our own on what happens if you're not socially engaged. That was COVID. And COVID separated us. It drove many people to learn online for children, even older people, separated us from family and from friends and different people. And this morning I read about a 66-page report that was done on some of the impact of that. And I would like to take the next few minutes to share all of that with you. But I won't. There are some very telling, interesting things coming out of that, which is that isolation and loneliness is equivalent to smoking 15 cigarettes a day in terms of cutting into your life expectancy. And the research goes on and on about the connection between physical activity and social engagement and mental engagement. And those three things go so hand in hand that it's absolutely appropriate that you would have Robert and me sitting next to each other, because your physical fitness and activity feeds so much into your mental health, and your mental health feeds so much into your physical activity. And so we and lifelong learners focus on two aspects of that, which is the social interaction as well as the mental health. And so we focus on in-person courses where people actually sit next to each other instead of sitting at home and learning things on the computer, which became too much of a habit for people during COVID. And so you have to kind of get out of that thinking mode a lot of people who went through that and got engaged in learning on screens and became isolated didn't realize the impact that that was having on their lives because it's so subtle. So the physical side of things, I look around a room like this and I think, okay, a lot of gray hair there. This person's mobility is a little reduced, et cetera, et cetera. That person looks really fit. Wow, wonder what they're doing. But mentally, I can't look around the room and see how your brains are functioning. But they're absolutely as important as how you're functioning physically. And one of the things that's interesting to me about a group like this is I look around the group and I think every person in this room knows something that I don't know and that I wish I did. And so before we started, I met Don in the back, and he told me all about Virginia. And and I had to cut it short, but I did learn that Virginia, when she wrote her PhD dissertation, it was the dissertation of the year for Texas Women's University. Okay. Every one of you knows something that I wish I knew. So we offer classes taught by volunteers, people like yourselves who have backgrounds in a wide range of subjects and work experience and come and share that with the group. And it's interesting. It's socially interactive. We call ourselves a community of curious minds. And I just have to stick this in parenthetically when you're talking about volunteering. The greatest volunteer thing you could do today is look at somebody in the room who you don't know, introduce yourself, and make them feel like part of the group. Because so many people come to these things, they're separated, they're looking for some connection, they don't get it because they don't feel comfortable introducing themselves. You could volunteer to draw them into the group and make them feel like part of it.
That's so great, man. You should have stood up the whole time. That was great. I loved it. No, thank you so much, Ron. I appreciate that. Robert, let's punt this over to you. So, in terms of the programs and activities that the City of Georgetown has available to seniors, like talk to us about those and how these programs are helping seniors stay engaged socially, mental health, well-being. Like, talk to us about that.
So many times I've had people come to me, maybe an individual or a couple, senior couple, they're new to town. And they're looking for friends, they're looking for connections, and they want to know where they can get that. A lot of our programs are very social. Not even just the senior programs. I could take the weight room, for example, at the rec center, or the walking jogging track, and all ages. There is a large social aspect to people coming to the rec center for physical fitness. I wish I could do a poll and see, do you come to the rec center more for the physical fitness or the social aspect? Because I bet they run, especially in the senior adult age group, I bet the social is probably outweighs the physical. So actually, when I leave here, I'm going to a monthly luncheon. We do a monthly luncheon at a restaurant. It's just a meetup. Everybody buys their own lunch, but it's an opportunity to get together, socialize, and enjoy going out for lunch instead of having a, ham and cheese sandwich again.
Thank you, Robert. So, Becky, a question for you. What are some opportunities for volunteers that may not be as mobile? Are there opportunities for that?
Yes, and so I would refer back to our buddy program. If you don't drive, so obviously we need drivers, but if you don't drive, there are opportunities in our buddy program that you could call one of our clients and just check in with them, maybe visit them. We have clients who need some technical help from time to time. And so we can come in and help them, like set up their new phone, or they're having trouble with their computer. So there are many ways to volunteer other than driving.
What would you say, if you could, for all three of you, what is the one takeaway from today? If you could, encourage action for our friends here, what would you say? What would be your encouragement?
Well, volunteering, and Alice mentioned this, is that it's good for your soul because you're helping someone. It gives you purpose. It gets you up and gets you out for the day, even if it's just for an hour. Um, it's just good for your soul.
As you were saying that, and Ellis earlier, when you were talking, one of the things that came to mind is there's this saying that says, what you focus on expands. And if it's just thinking about you and the ache and the pain, the thing, that's what's going to kind of consume yourself and your world. But if you focus on giving, serving, and other people, there's a whole realm of possibilities that really do open up, and living a more fulfilled life, right? It's really living better, living wiser, and living more fulfilled. So I really like that. Robert, how about you?
So I would say whether you're talking or, interested in volunteering or just making connections, making new friend connections, you have to put yourself out there. You can't wait for somebody to come knock on the door and say, hey, do you want to go to lunch? Hey, would you like to volunteer here or there? You've got to make an effort, and that's how you're going to get started. I mean, we've heard it from Bonnie and Mr. Ellis. You have to go searching for it. You can't wait for it to come knocking on your door.
Yeah, tying in with that, I would say look at the balance in your life and think about some place you'd like to be this year. We sort of chuckle about New Year's resolutions because they die away within a week or a month or something. But if you set a long-term goal, it can motivate you to do the things that are necessary to reach that goal. So I turned 75 this year, and to celebrate my 75th birthday, I want to climb a 14,000-foot mountain in Colorado. Okay, my birthday's in September. What does that mean I have to do to get there? I'm at the rec center on the stair climber.
Kayak water polo is what I think.
Yeah, I want to learn. I took a American Sign Language class. This year, I want to end the year knowing 1,000 signs in American Sign Language. What do I have to do to get there? I can't wait until December. It motivates me to do something. Socially, I invite random people I meet in the community over to my house for dinner. I want to do more of that because there are so many fascinating, interesting people in the community. And so once a month, have dinner for somebody that I absolutely don't know. And I've done that with people I met out hiking on the hiking trails. For you, one thing might be we start a term of 18 courses at the end of January, and maybe you're stepping out of your comfort zone might be stop by, pick up the courses, pick up a free ticket to a morning of classes, and get to know us and get to know some other people who are interested in sharpening their minds by learning about all kinds of different things. Whatever it is, set a goal for yourself, like you said, and then take the steps to get there.
Great, I love that. A funny story. I had to go into Randall's on Williams the other day, and I went in kind of the side way to the Starbucks there, and there were probably, and if any of you are in the room, I thought it was great. There was 7 or 8 senior gentlemen around a table, and all I heard was, and the something chimpanzee, blah, blah, blah. And I kind of kept walking. So they were just talking about chimpanzees, but I thought that was so cool. There was an interest there. But thank you, Ron, for your enthusiasm. And Robert, thank you for what you do and all you do, and Becky as well. And I appreciate y'all being a part. So we have time, a few minutes for some questions. So if any questions, I think if we have a mic runner, anybody could, or I can just raise your hand. Yes, ma'am. Is Faith in Action just for people in Georgetown city limits?
Just Georgetown city limits and 65 and older.
Okay.
I would just like to make a couple of comments. Number one, Faith in Action I didn't drive. I hate driving. When my husband passed away, that was the worst thing because I was the only one left to drive. And but what I did, the director at the time knew to call me if anyone went on vacation or was sick. I went in and I filled in the office. One of my spiritual gifts is administration. And I will never forget one day I was talking, I had a lot of phone calls to make, and I was laughing. The people that I was talking with, oh my goodness, we were having a grand time. And she walked out of her office, she came over to the desk and she looked at me and she says, Bonnie, you're just having way too much fun. And I was. So there are opportunities like that. And go ahead. Do you want?
Yeah, a lot of our clients I talk with on the phone, and I never get to meet them personally. But I've built relationships with these people. And the other day I was in HEB and I ran into a friend and was talking to her. And this person came up to me and they said, "Are you Becky from Faith in Action?" And they recognized my voice just from talking on the phone all these years. So we had a nice face to face and got to meet them. I love it when I get to meet the clients.
Absolutely. And that's what I love too. Just like I had said, and when I was saying, just walking and somebody recognized me, and I don't know who they are, but it's okay. They recognize me. The second point I wanted to make, Ron, when you talked about COVID and isolation, the first grief share meeting that we had in person after COVID was one of the most difficult ones that I had ever led. Reason was isolation. We had 22 people show up for that session. Usually we have anywhere between 8 to 12. And they were all angry at each other because half of them there got to watch their loved ones die on a telephone outside the hospital. And it was one of the most difficult sessions I had ever led. As a matter of fact, when I left the room for a few minutes, I came back and everybody was fighting with each other. And it was because they were so full of anger, what happened to them, and isolation. So I just wanted to share that because isolation is a very important part of our life.
Any other questions? Yes, ma'am. Yes, yes. So I would, yes. Any other questions for the panelists here? Okay. I have one more slide here, and it is on your action steps, the form here. Choose one way to get involved. We don't want this to be just kind of lip service. Like we want action. We want to encourage you to take a step out of your comfort zone this year. Strengthen at least one meaningful connection and reignite a passion or try something new. So we encourage it. Those are on your action step form. We do have, and then if you guys want to go ahead and you'll be at your tables, and then they'll be here in the center. But we did have a question back to the other PowerPoint, Ken, at the very last slide there, I think. We have, Virginia and I are doing a downsizing workshop on February the 19th. And it'll be at the Keller Williams office down on South Austin, 1003 South Austin. And it is from 1 to 4. And we had this, I think, was it back in October? I think we had. And was anybody in the room? Were you at that? Yes. And so I think it was a great opportunity, and there were several people who had expressed interest and weren't able to attend that. So we're offering that again. It's for 1 to 4, and we're going to walk through 10 steps in the downsizing journey. And so you can sign up. Somebody had the question, is this like another seminar like this? It's different. We go a whole lot deeper on that. So if you check that box here, the last box, we will sign you up for that and send you an email with more information on that. So any other questions? Yes, ma'am. I do not, but I can get you that. Yes, I sure will. Yes, ma'am. Oh, if we had a flyer for this. Space is limited. I think we have space for 30 people. The room gets a little bit tight, so it's first come, first serve, but and I'm sure we'll be doing it again. Yes, it's very interactive, And we had a great time together. And I think you'll get some chocolate or something. I don't know what you'll get. We'll bring chocolate. Yes. So, okay. Well, thank you all so much for being here. Please don't forget to fill out your feedback form. Grateful to see y'all today and that you took the time to be here. Invite a friend. We believe that with the senior population in Georgetown and Williamson County, we could pack this place out. And we really appreciate our panelists today. Ellis and Bonnie, thank you so much for sharing your personal journey and story. It's such a great piece of that today. Please do not make me go home with donuts. So grab a donut, grab another cup of coffee, and hang out. And I'll ask the EPs to get over to their tables and enjoy the rest of your day. Thank y'all.